Okay, it's on live. Do you have something to say firstly?
I don't have anything.
Okay, I just help Professor to make some announcements. So, hello everybody. Welcome to the Hangout for the second week. And I think, as Professor mentioned, the homework and the project one have been released. So one of the issues I observe is the teaming, because I just found that we have like around 39 students involved in the class, but only 21 of you just registered the team information. So does that means for the rest of the students, do you want to do the project by yourself? So I think you need to, if you want to team it, you need to team up as soon as possible. Let me know, and maybe by next Monday. So if not, I just assuming you are working on yourself for the project one, and hopefully you have a good luck on everything since now. And I think that is all of the concerns. So if you have any questions, you can, and if you want to join to the Hangout or some short discussion, you can like search the links. I posted on the Piada. So we will wait for a moment, maybe till 2 o'clock, because this Saturday, and I think many of you will be out with your family. So let's see. Okay, and some students is asking about the reference book I mentioned. I think it is a good reference. It is because it's, as compared to the online document, it is well organized, so easy to read. And for my personal, I just take a afternoon to get everything I need from the book. So especially if you want to implement the semantic checks with like semantic actions, I think it is a good reference for you to get some basic understandings about what is going on with the antler. So
Yeah, I can add to that too, Chow. I read both of those Terrence Parr books, the Definitive Antler 4 Guide and Language Implementation Patterns. And he's a really good writer, and presents these ideas in a really easy to follow way. And just in an overall kind of perspective, those books were really good, not just for getting through this class, but for understanding how language implementations actually work. So I'd put my stamp on both of those. They're very valuable.
Yeah, me too. So it is worth to have a book about that. And actually, in terms of the semantic check, in terms of the implementation part, some of you could prefer to some like traditional ways, like working through the ST tree. But some of you could be prefer to the semantic actions. That is, it is easy. It's much easier. I mean, takes fewer time to implement that, but you need to spend some time on the grammar constructions. So I think another thing I need to mention is if you implemented the semantic check based on the semantic actions, I think you need to, in your final submission, you need to submit 2 versions of grammars. The first grammar is about, it's just simply the language grammar, which is you update it to LL1. And the second copy of the grammar is augmented grammar with semantic actions. So then we know what is wrong, what is good, and what is wrong. So I think this is you need to keep in mind in mind about this. I will send out a new post announcement regarding this. So that is all. And for the project tours, actually, I expect you to for simple tool grading, I expect you to use the Makefile, even you use the Mavens, because we experienced some issues in the previous classes. Like some of you submitted the packages, and we cannot build the source code. So it is very time consuming to replay your source code and replay your everything for the grading issues. So when you submit your final version of the project, it's better to create a standalone virtual machine and to run your building script to check whether we can compare your source code correctly. And especially, you need to set up every environment, every packages as required by your source code. So we have you cannot expect us to have much knowledge as you on something about your implementation. So if you use some external libraries, it is fine, but you need to just give a script. In that script, the dependency packages will be installed automatically. So we can do everything automatically, just executing a make command. So that would be great. Hey, Desmond. Hey, Adam, do you have something to say about homework 1?
Not specifically. I remember it being pretty straightforward. I know it can help if you actually take the time to show your work, not just for us, but for yourself. It really helps to, especially things like Brzezowski's algorithm. If you actually go through every step, it might seem tedious at first, but it will pay dividends when you finally get to your final answer, your minimal DFA. Oh, and also the grammar for question 1. Just remember that this is a very simple, very limited grammar for a programming language that none of us would ever actually use. So don't expect too much out of functionality, and don't assume that certain syntax would work that you're familiar with, using a language like Python or such.
Yeah, that is a good point. Okay, I think. Okay. Definitely is asking about the GTK versions for the project. Actually, for the project we provided, I should have provided you a virtual machine. In that case, you just do everything based on that virtual machine. It's basically based on Ubuntu. So I think Ubuntu 16.04. So just using everything from Ubuntu 16.04, the default version, that would be okay to go. Thanks for them. Yeah.
I was just going to say about that. I have very limited Java experience, and I did my project in Java, and I didn't have any issues with JDK versions or anything like that. The rule of thumb was get everything working locally, and like I was using IntelliJ, just case in point. Get everything working locally, and then test everything in the I believe it's a Vagrant image. Is that our virtual machine?
Yes, with the Vagrant.
Yeah. So get it working locally, then just test it using the Vagrant image, and you'll be good to go. There are other projects I've worked on where you specifically have to use some old version of Python or something like that for some specific behavior, but that's not the case here. With this project, especially the Java version, which is all I can speak to, is you don't really have to worry about much.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's Anand here. No, I think if I end up using one of the JDK's APIs, right? And I don't know in your environment what JDK comes pre-installed, right? And that's why I was wondering, should we supply the JDK ourselves, or I mean, I can package up a JRE, right? But then I guess you want to compile as well, so it doesn't make sense, right? I mean, it'll be too big if I package up a JDK along with the project when I submit.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that complicated.
Okay. So I think it'll be helpful if the version of the JDK it's in the image, it's kind of, if you guys can just check that and provide that version, so everybody can just compile using the same version just to be safe. Because
yes, I'm trying to post a new announcement regarding to the development environment. We give you a Vagrant image. I think you can, in that Vagrant configure file, everything is set up.
Okay.
So you just go with that part, it will be fine.
Okay. Sounds good. And it shouldn't be a problem with Windows versus, I guess we'll have to test it out, right? If somebody's developing using Windows versus Ubuntu or whatever that image that you guys will have.
The image is based on the Ubuntu 16.04, I think.
But yes, just test it on the Vagrant image before you submit.
Yep, I think that's fine. I think once you guys publish the image, I guess we can just take that and test it locally, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be, yeah. Yeah, I have a question on the homework, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these questions, do they have partial grading? Should we show the steps on how you derive the answer, or is it just you care for just the answer?
Showing steps is always helpful, because then yes, it gives us the opportunity to take partial points off if you just missed one simple step or something like that.
Okay.
And in fact, when I did my homework, when I took the class, I feel sorry for whoever graded me, because I'm pretty sure one of my questions spanned like 2 pages, just because I was listing out all the steps that I took just for my own clarity.
Mm-hmm.
But it was helpful regardless. So
yeah, that is fine. Actually, we prefer in that way because it is get clear what is going on.
Yes.
Okay. And how to submit this is just, I don't know if that was actually clear. Maybe I missed it. Like in the submit via Canvas. Okay, got it. So basically we put out a PDF that's a scanned answer and just submit it to Canvas, right? For the homework?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Thing. Okay.
Hey, Anand, I got another answer for you if you're still on there.
Yeah.
So I just pulled up my project from 2 semesters ago, fall 2018. I was using Project SDK 1.8. If that tells you anything, yeah. So Java version 1.8.
Okay.
Language level 8. So I was using lambdas, type annotations.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, that's good. So I think then I guess the image should come. So anything lower than that should be safe. So that's fine. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, if you're using something like 1.7, somebody uses 1.8, it'll be trouble. But
right.
Yeah. If you're using 1.8, it should be good enough. Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, this was my first major Java project, and I got through it not having a clue how any of the JDK, SDK, whatever else is supposed to fit together. So thankfully, it wasn't an issue.
Okay.
Frankly, I have no experience. I mean, no experience, limited experience. I can read the Java code, but I cannot not really write something about it, especially if you like contains a sort of a huge number of packages. I can read it. I know what is going on, but for myself, I have no experience writing part of that.
Right. Yeah. Same here.
Yep, that's fine. Because in the real world, right, Make and Java are kind of they don't go along well, But
yeah, they're old school.
All right. When I joined, I think you guys were talking about this Brzezowski's algorithm, and is it described in the book or is it part of the lectures?
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, can you repeat your question? I didn't go to that.
I thought it was in the lecture. I'm opening it right now to see if I can find the exact videos.
I think I've gone till about lesson 3, I believe, but I don't think I've finished lesson 3. But maybe like last 2-3 videos left. I don't think I encountered.
Let's see. So Thompson's construction is lesson 3.
Right.
Closures, the lexical analysis, subset construction. So subset construction is part. Still looking.
Hey, Professor.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I could not get through. I tried a couple of times, but I think I managed to get in now. I can hear you too. So I guess looks like you're discussing something. I just got in. What was the question?
We were trying to determine where exactly Brzezowski's algorithm is discussed, and it looks like the DFA minimization slides, 35 or videos 35 and 36 is where it goes through the process. I'm trying to find where the idea is introduced, where the algorithm is introduced.
It should be in the DFA minimization lecture. That's those the videos, and in the book, I guess if you just look at the index, you should be able to find the corresponding chapter.
Okay, yeah, I my book is still on the way, so it should be there in a few days. But I was just wondering if it's there in the lecture. So you're saying the lesson 3, right, towards the end?
Lesson 3, yeah, 35, 36 are the
Okay.
specific videos.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's a good example, and I think there should be an algorithm also shown. It flips the edges and starts in the end and goes toward the front and then goes back up and so on. So, okay. Yeah, the book will give you a lot more details. So I hope you get it and then read through that. So that's sort of the lectures introduce the concept, but then more details are in the book. So. Okay, so I'm here. Let's just quickly do some announcements and then maybe take some remaining questions if there are any. So I guess, Chow, you also have an example you said that you might share, right? The Brzezowski's, you had worked out some details. I saw some question in the Piazza, so Chow is going to put out some example there. Chow, is it a video or it's slides or what is it that you made last semester?
No, I think I've made an example the semester before. Last semester, I'm looking for it.
Was it a video or a slide or what?
It's not a video. It's just a
okay
slide.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Example.
Okay. All right. So I guess the important announcement I wanted to start off with was we put out the project earlier this week, and I hope everybody is on to it. That's really important because the project part phase 1 is due in about a month's time, and everybody should do it either being in a team or by themselves, whatever your preference is. And if you're not found a teammate or whatever, we need to know, and we'll try to just work out a random arrangement because we really cannot, of course, go after the preferences and do those things. If it hasn't worked out through that route, then we'll just pick a random teammate, and unfortunately, then that's the way it will have to go through. But get going with it. Even if you don't have a teammate right away, get started on things and get that book for Antler, get things set up. Start looking through those simple examples of grammars which are in that Antler book, how the syntax is, and so on, and try to put the Tiger grammar in that format, and then start changing it so that it becomes preferably LL1, but if not, LL2 at least, and that should be definitely very easy to do. And then from there, once you generate the scanner and the parser, try to do the next step is the semantic analysis, the tree walking algorithms. So read those chapter 3 and 4 examples and get started. So in short, I think the starting point of the project is to get the Antler book and get on the chapters 3 and 4. Read those, understand examples, and then put your grammar through that route. That's one important thing. The second one is the homework. This is the summer semester, so unfortunately the timelines are crammed and they are all coming overlapping with each other. But if you stay on top of it and get started, it should be all fine. So please do not delay things. And then I hope you're pacing also in parallel. These things are sort of arranged so that as you pace through, you get to try it out in your homework and also project. The homeworks will be the theory side of it. The other ones are the practice side of it. So both will give you a nice exercise. And once you do these two things, you'll be very much understanding the concepts and its application very strongly. So that's what I wanted to quickly announce. And I guess Chow and Adam are there to help you out. So please use Piazza, and they will monitor and get things answered very quickly. And then occasionally we can do it here in the weekly basis. So uh, every week we'll be doing our office hours on Fridays. Typically we'll fix a time like 2:15 or so, and we'll stick to it. This long weekend I had something going on, so I'm actually on the road right now, but I'm taking the calls. Yesterday I could not do it because of some other travel and so on. So I guess that's all I have. And Chow, you had probably talked about some other things already. And are there any other questions or anything I can help with? Let me know now.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight that for those of you who haven't have team informations, give me team information. I just assume you will do the project theory for fairness. In other case, if like a team up somebody, and if the other teams failed, it could be a team member failed. It could be cause some like delays to others. So it is safe to assuming you will work thoroughly by yourself.
So everybody should be reporting their teaming to Chow. That's one important thing. Chow, if you can also do a post about it on the Piazza, because that's something which is really. So you need to know, Chow, whether somebody is in a single team or team of two, single person team or team of two, and everybody should get back to Chow about it. And that way we'll know who is not in the team, the remaining ones. And then if you are not found a teammate, also let Chow know, and then Chow will do the random matchmaking and get. So we need to get this done, document the teaming and finish the remaining teaming very fast. Already there's been like 3-4 days since the project has been given, so should not lose time. So Chow, can you do this type of announcement, please?
Yeah, I have made an announcement on the Piazza, actually two announcements. Right now, there are 21 students has registered team information, but for the remaining around 18 students, still not.
Okay. So they have not responded one way or the other in terms of teaming. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So another thing is for the project one, I just making an announcement about the virtual machines we used for the development. So you can find the information from the Piazza, from the latest announcement about the logistics of project one.
Thank you. Yeah, that way we'll have uniformity in terms of environments and grading and other stuff. So please follow those instructions. Those who are not given us anything, we will let's do a cutoff date by which and do this announcement that if they don't report to us, we'll be assuming they are by themselves in a team of single person, and we will not be able to help them after that. So I think that's what we'll have to go with, because we cannot keep this open-ended, as well as we cannot do a matchmaking at a very last minute. That will not be right, and that will not really work out, moreover. So okay.
Okay. Hey,
Any other any other issue or any other announcement? I might get cut off at some point because I don't have a very strong signal here, but while I'm there, then I can definitely address something.
yeah, I have a question which is not really technical, just a more logistic question, right? So for summer session, single team works. When I want to do the project as a single team member, just want to, just want to get the feedback that it's actually it's fine to do it. And I know it's fine in terms of rules, but
Right.
in terms of
Okay.
practicality,
Right. So there are advantages of being just in a single team. the main thing is the amount of work is there a little bit, but you can, if you have flexibility to schedule it, and unless you're really very heavily swamped, it might work out better, because then you have full control over the design, you have full control over the logistics. What we have found in past is this, that even though there is a team of two, the work exactly doesn't get lowered by half.
Right.
it,
Right.
it goes something like this, that sometimes it is 3/4, and in the worst case it goes almost to the full level and more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because other teammate is not responding, there are issues, and their timelines don't match, their designs don't match, there are number of issues. So in terms of amount of work, if you are getting started on time, and if you are able to devote a good bit of time on your own, and if you have good familiarity with some of the tools, or if you're strong in terms of coding and tooling and so on, Antler, give it a shot, and start it, and see how it is. I would think that, if you're leaning towards it, unless you have found a really good teammate, I would probably just try it by myself.
Yeah.
Very
Okay.
frank advice. So I think it should work out. There is not humongous amount of work. It's not that because of work it is a division here. Even phase one, you have seen how it is. Phase two will also be just a single register allocator that will ask you to build,
Mhm.
and some instruction selection. And I think you should be just fine in terms of the coding amount of work there.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And one last question I had is on the lessons, the lectures for the project. Is it going till about, I would say, lesson 7? About, I think, 11.7 calls about semantic analysis, right? So for the phase 1 project, should we just go through the lectures till about lesson 7 before we get started to get a better idea?
Yes, so I think exactly lesson number I don't know, but I guess in terms of the lecture, it should be on attribute grammars and semantic analysis. That's the
Mhm.
topic. I
Okay.
think that should be the last lecture in terms of semantic analysis, and then following that, there should be a lecture on IR code generation.
Right.
So I believe that might be lesson 7. I think the IR code generation.
IR is 8. Yeah. Mhm.
8. Okay, so I think that till that point we have it for the project phase 1.
Okay.
And you might want to quickly pace forward if you need to, but I think once you get the parser and scanner done, then go with the symbol table generation and semantic analysis, those 2 lectures.
Yeah.
And you might want to pace a little bit ahead in case the pacing schedule is a little behind you, or you are ahead of that. And that should just be fine, because it's anyway you have to cover it, and there'll be a forthcoming homework and so on. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
thank you. Hope it works out.
Yep. Bye.
Bye. Any other logistics or any other conceptual questions? I hope the concepts should be pretty interesting and straightforward in terms of being able to generate some very simple machines, which are just looking at a character ahead and generating the DFA, NFAs, and then small DFAs for recognizing the tokens. The second part of it, the parsing part of it, is very interesting in terms of the grammar should be handled through the context-free mechanisms, and everything should be pretty clear and straightforward with the concepts. The complex grammars, unfortunately, because of the length of the semester and takes a while to do the LR grammars, we are not able to include it in the pacing. But those who are really interested, maybe towards the end of the semester or something, can look at the LR0 and SLR1 and all these kinds of grammars, which are also interesting and quite simple in terms of bottom-up parsers. And Antler allows you to build both kinds of parsers, top-down and bottom-up. So we are building top-down in this exercise because it's more intuitive. And you're seen in the first um, week's video how the anticipated tokens and actual ones are matched, and how the whole process works. So it is all about top-down parsing, which is converted into automatic form by LL1. So that's what we are doing. And as I said, LR0, SLR1, bottom-up parser, and LR1. This is something which we won't be able to cover because of the length of the semester. And then I expect you to just, they're not on the exam, they're not on the syllabus either. But it will be a good idea to just read it up for your benefit for future. The other concepts are very interesting as well in terms of how we build the ASTs. Once we do the parsing, then how do we walk the trees? The book that I mentioned, which is about the antler, has some very nice examples and code snippets, which will actually help you to understand this. So I would just take those examples, I would step through them, I'll understand how the class interfaces are and so on, of the tree walker and the tree visitor functions, and then you can try and modify it for the purposes of Tiger. And that will really help you understand this very nicely. So that book and the examples are really critical. Other than that, I guess, any other questions or anything I can help?
Just a side comment on the LLVM, right? Is there any, I know we can read it up online, but this course covers LLVM in any aspects, or any pointers would be just.
Yeah, so LLVM, of course, is a very important infrastructure which is in public domain. Again, we don't really cover it because we are building the concepts here, and LLVM will be very difficult to understand without the concept. So the way we are doing this class is take a concept and try to actually build the concept using the antler and maybe other machinery or by hand, and build a compiler. So LLVM has an automated front end, which is Clang, which is there for C++ and C and Fortran. So there's not much to do there in terms of as far as this class is concerned, but its main focus is on the IR and the backend. The IR is slightly advanced as compared to what we do within this class because it is SSA based. So this is what I would suggest. Again, towards the end of the class, those of you who have interest, probably we can put out some pointers there to look at the IR, how to, once we do the control flow analysis, once we do register analysis, allocation, liveness analysis, what we'll do is we'll put out some links to the respective LLVM passes where some of this is implemented on more advanced IR. And then there are tutorials which tell you about the IR. So we'll take a note. Chow, we can make a note of this, please. And we'll try to put some links to the LLVM documentation and also LLVM tutorials so that you can navigate maybe respective. Let's talk about, for example, how register allocation is built in the LLVM infrastructure, and we'll try to put some links around that and what analysis, how it is built, what the IR is representing, and so on. So the simple optimization that we have discussed in this class, such as local value numbering, they are extended in a very major way in LLVM, much more advanced. And so you'll have to understand the IR. So first you'll have to understand IR, which is SSA based, and then you'll have to understand. So we'll try to put some links maybe to one key optimization such as register allocation, for those who are interested. Thank you.
Yep, that'll be great. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. So I probably am coming to a place where I need to get off the phone, but I'll see you if you have more questions next week. But in the meantime, thanks for coming over and for great questions today, and I hope you all are getting big underway for your project, and it will be very exciting, I promise you. So if you delay it, you'll get stressed out, and more importantly, you'll lose all the excitement and enjoyment and learning that is my goal here. So I don't want you to cram 1 month's work in 1 week's work and then stress out and pace yourself very furiously and get frustrated. That is to be completely avoided, and that's why we have released everything in well in advance, and we really expect you to also follow the schedule, because we know it cannot be crammed in a small short piece of time. And I really am trying to emphasize this over and over right in the beginning itself, so that later we don't have any unfortunate cramming and frustrations. This might sound a little bit more harsh, but it's a reality. And especially learning, I believe, it takes place at a relaxed, nice space. It does not take place when you are stressed out and somehow trying to complete things. So that is completely defeats the aim of this. And I'm really sorry if I'm coming across very harsh here, but I really want you to enjoy it and learn things properly. And for that matter, it is important to get started on time and stay up on top of it, and then get anything and every problem that you might face resolved. So that was the reason why I was trying to emphasize this over and over. So anyway, I'm sure all of you will do this, and see you next week. Thank you.
See you.
Okay, thanks, guys. I'm dropping off. Bye.
Okay, bye. Okay, I think that we are finished here today.
Yep, I don't have anything else.
Okay. Thanks, Ada. See you next week.
All right, see ya. Bye.
Bye.